All right. Done one pass over everything. That's one pass. So another 3, 4, 5, 6. Just keep filling that baby in. It's hot. I got her cranked up to, what, 25 amps? And you can see it's cut in the metal. That's good. So it's got good penetration. Let's clean it up and keep welding. Wow. So I'm on pass number 5. This is the 5th pass. There's number 4 right there. I did one down the center, then I did one on the end, one on the top, or one on the bottom, one on the top, and then one across the whole thing. And now I'm doing one more across the whole thing, and then I'll grind that edge down, and that'll give a nice rounded edge that is typically on this bud when you look at them. So that'll be 5 passes of weld. It's turned up hot, 25 amps. We're pumping the wire into it. I'll clean this up, and it'll look real nice. So shouldn't have any issues with braking. I think this is staying together. There we are. Look at that. Isn't that just marvelous? So I'll take the grinder and we'll cut that edge down, cut this edge down, clean up all the little rough edges. Throw some Bondo on it, we'll be good. All right. Couple pits here and there. I don't know, it's hard. I could weld those spots in and grind them down. Or I could just leave it, throw some paint on it, and you guys just know that that was a decision we all made together. Get that to fit on here. After I just got done doing a whole other round of weld around the entire thing. It's welded good. It's not coming apart. I gotta cut this off. So we're gonna use a torch, see if we can cut 2 inches. We don't have a huge wand on it, torch head, but we'll see. I'll just keep blasting, and if I can cut that, get rid of this piece. That way those gussets will fit inside here because they're gonna be in between. And then this ledge here will support that big slab as we put it in. And I'll weld all around, I'll clean it all up and everything, and then bevel the edges on that 2-inch slab. And then that'll be welded all on the top here. The biggest part will be the top, that's the easiest to weld. Try to weld underneath, and then we'll plate the backside here down to it. So, but I need to cut this off, so let's get cutting. Well, that torch is not really meant to cut 2-inch. I had to like widen the gap. I mean, it did. I eventually cranked the pressure up a bunch and it started blasting through, but I think I've got it cut. It's just hanging on by some slag, so I'll grab the ball, let's whack it a few times and see if we can get that piece to pop off. All right. Look at that wear mark. Isn't that amazing? Ha. All right, well, that'll work as a great ledge. So now I got a bunch of cleaning up to do. We got to get rid of that thing, clean all this up, clean that up, clean all this up, and then slide that baby in there, get her fastened up, and then we got to finish building out the bottom of these fenders. Lots of work and running out of time. I love it.
Now I went ahead and welded the spacer right here, not spacer, yeah, it's called a spacer. That little gap that we had to fill since we flared the fenders out and lifted them up. So we had to have a piece cut to match that difference, and we actually had a sheet of steel rolled, so it's not just a flat piece. So if you look right here, a nice little curled, rolled piece of sheet of steel. I love it. But now what I did is I welded all that up, put this plate on here, and I got to figure out what to cut the angle for the steps, get that cut, and then the next thing that I'm doing, which is actually right now, is the top plate. So this is going to be a diamond plate for the whole cover, and I'm going to do a cutout for an access hole to change those filters, clean the inside out and so forth. I drilled a hole right here So when I put that plate back on top, I'll know exactly where it's gonna be. Because otherwise, if you try to rotate it and get it all figured out, the pattern will be off. That little notch right there will tell me exactly where to line it up. So I'll plasma this out, and then I gotta make a couple, I gotta make a sheet that'll go underneath here with another hole and tap them and bolt that piece to it. You'll see later on. So I think right now, I'm gonna cut this piece out and get that ready to go on there. And yeah, it's happening. A lot of things are happening on this tractor. I basically got my suction tubes all done. I gotta patch that hole over here. I gotta cut a return hole on this side. I gotta weld that seam, Obviously I gotta fill this gap in right here in this plate. Yeah, I got a lot to do, but I'm gonna cut this out right now. Now I'm gonna take the old top, I'm gonna cut that out. Just that ring right there, and that's gonna be welded on the bottom. And then I'm gonna tap these with holes, making progress. You'll see what I'm doing. Well, that iron worker, man, that thing's awesome. Punching those holes, it's probably saved me 20 minutes of drilling or more, and that only took like, I don't know, a minute. So use a 7/16 drill bit to just lightly make a mark on this bottom plate so I know where to drill, and then I gotta drill those out with a smaller bit and then tap them.
Well, I plasma cut, torched, and ground, and fingers are a little tingly. But I believe I got all the old weld taken off, as well as some of the iron I didn't want to take off, but I'm gonna have to fill that in, clean that up. Then I cleaned up with the surfaces where that slab's gonna sit, up and around here and over there, and up and around there and over there, and got rid of all the high spots. I think this gap's gonna have to be spread just a little bit, because when I took that piece out, it came in just a hair. So we'll put either the porta power in here, or we'll figure out a way to spread it in here, put that slab in, set it down, and start welding. Oh yeah, more of that. Multiple passes. I think it's time to mate this conglomerate up to the back of this bud. So I've got the porta power, spreading this outside just enough to hopefully I have room, so that way this can slide in nice and tight. Forks are narrower than these stumps sticking out right here, so they should be able to slide right in. When we get it past where this lip here is sitting on top of these supports, stumps, whatever you want to call them, then I'll let off. We'll take that square tubing out. I'll go in a little further, is the goal. Put it back underneath and kind of keep working it back till we can get the rest on this stand back here. Otherwise, I would have had to weld some hooks on the front and chain it and try to carry it in, and then cut the hooks off and grind it all down. So we'll try this way. If this doesn't look like it's working, we'll weld some hooks and put it in that way. Still gotta level it. I think I gotta lift the back up just a hair. It's caught in here, so there's no way it can fall forward. Overall, it's pretty good. So we gotta put the drawbar in, pin it in the back, and then see, does this whole plate need to come out or in a little bit? We want a little bit of space, I don't know, an inch maybe between the drawbar and this at least. So that's the next step. It's in further, I think, than the old bar was. So technically, I think I've got to pull it out of there, but I'm thrilled to see that in there. That's a good sight. All right, I'm feeling good. Let's weld. Well, there goes another 33-pound spool of wire. Ha! Okay. Throw another one on. He just picked it up right as I was saying that, so he came over. Actually, he waits for any of my little needs that I need.
Hang on a second. Do you need this, Nick?
Yes.
You want this?
I think so far we've gone through 4 10-pound spools, so 40 pounds, a 33 pounds, so what are we at, 73 pounds? And then now we're gonna have another 33 pound under here. So we'll see how long this one goes. I bet it'll make it most of the rest of the way. We still have a lot of welding to go, but yeah, it'll be over 100 pounds of weld on this thing. So that's good. That's like 1 horsepower added. See, we added 100 pounds of wire. So now we have 1 more horsepower in the tractor. There we go. 2 passes on each side. Beveled, cleaned up each weld before. Now I gotta do the underside. The underside, there's some welding right here I gotta do, and right there. I figure there's 8 feet of weld that's gonna be double welded, so that should hold. Something else is gonna break before that does, so. And then this is gonna get boxed in too. And then of course PTO is right there. But that'll all be welded up all along there. So that'll be tied in, so it's, yeah. 4,000 bushel grain cart, we'll be ready. Now, one of the challenges of getting this drawbar hooked up here, I've got it sitting on the ground right now, is we have to build, I don't know if they call it a clevis, terminology, just not good. I got to build another one of these basically down here, because that drawbar is going to hang right in this area. So I'm trying to figure out how to build a plate that I can somehow weld to this without welding underneath, because it's really hard to weld direct underneath. I mean, we can't flip the tractor over. It's just gonna be a tough weld to get that spot. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna copy this shape of this whole thing, like so. Basically a triangle with this round top to it. And I'm gonna have it come out to the width of this. And then I'll build the whole plate. We'll lay flat iron and I'll weld a box flat iron real heavy, 1/2 inch or I don't know, maybe up to 1 inch, depending on how crazy we get around the edges. Put the floor jack, press that up against here, and then what'll happen is I'll have a nice edge. I can put it right up against this and I'll be able to bevel the edges and weld all the way around, come on the inside, weld. And I think that will be strong enough. We are still getting the integrity of this one and this one because the pin's gonna go straight through both of those. So, I mean, it's not like all the force is gonna be applied on that bottom one, but the majority of it probably will. So we will make this work. This is what I got so far. So I'm gonna plasma that off. Don't mind these holes. They're just, was one of the spacers that we left. That's fine. You guys won't look under there, right? I could fill them full of weld. So, but this will do, and then the pin hole will be cut right here. That's not too shabby for freehanding. A little corner there. All right, I'll do the same thing on the other side. You can see it cut at an angle right there a little bit, but that's fine. I'll clean it up. So let's get that side cut. Then I'll start making the spacers, figure out how far that needs to go. I'll weld this whole thing up, clean it up over there, and then get ready to press it up and weld it all up. These holes are throwing me off. It looks crooked, but that's the right measurement. That's the right measurement. That was center. That gap was right. I just got to clean up a little bit around here. Just bust all that slag off. Obviously, gouged a little more than I wanted, but I think we're good. And got to poke a hole right there. So today, it got up to 47, almost 50 degrees Fahrenheit. But again, a 50-mile-an-hour wind. That's what happens in the winter when it gets warm as the wind blows. But it's calm right now. And tomorrow gets cold, and then this weekend's down sub-zero, minus 20 at night. And next week's not real warm. So we're gonna push the girl out, and we're gonna grab the cab that hasn't had anything done to it other than being gutted, and we're gonna put it on top of this thing because we gotta get measurements and figure out how to extend that hood, how to build the front of the cab out. There's a lot of little things we need to know, and we're not gonna know until we get the cab on. So we're gonna clean up, pull the frame out, the chassis out, get the digger derrick set up, get the beam on top of the cab, pick it up, put it on, bolt it onto my new cab brackets, and we'll have it kind of looking like a tractor in the shop again. Let's get to it. Our daylight's running out. We decided to do this last minute because the wind just died. We got about an hour and a half of sunlight, so see if we can get it done in an hour and a half. Legroom's just button up some welds on the side there so it doesn't fall off. So let's get to work.
Tell them to clean the shop because I no. Go up higher, Nick. There you go. He said he needed weight. I think he's calling me a fatty. Wow, this is like the first time in the Big Bud to drive around. Although I'm not driving. He is. This is a little bit different kind of an Uber service. I think it's, for us, it's probably Goober.
Cab is going up. This time leg arms is not in there. Yes, I know, it would have been fun, but okay, we won't go quite that extreme, all right? So I guess I can climb on the back of this thing. Oh, look at this step. Oh, that's nice. Now I think I better put these on first. Oh, yeah, I mean, you can take these pins out too. I don't know what's easier. Right there. I won't go any further. There you go. Okay, stop.
Okay, now I gotta retract it. Can we get one bolt?
All right, well, we put some more bolts in. Okay, I'll unhook you. I'll unhook you. Yeah, that's tall enough. Okay, I'll go grab the skid steer. We'll start the fun process. See? Looks like a tractor again. Doesn't look like we did anything to it yet. All right. All right, it's gonna be some of this, a lot of back and forth. Tractor's back, right where it was. I guess I could turn this a little more, but we should be good there. Help Dad sweep the floor and get these doors closed.